What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be analyzing the Middle-earth Shadow of War gameplay trailer that came out very recently, depending on when you're watching this. So we're going to go through the trailer as it's playing in real time, and we're just going to be looking at the things that it shows us and kind of seeing where this game is going to go, what we learned, so to speak, from the game. So this is obviously the follow-up of the hit Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, the first game that came out 2 years ago. It was a fantastic game, and the Nemesis system in that game was phenomenal. And it was really something for games to look to and copy it, really, I hope, in the future, because this system is super awesome, and I mean, it's brand new. Nobody's ever done things like this. So in this trailer, and I say trailer, but it is a 16-minute video, we get a lot of looks at these different, I guess you could call they're missions in a way. They're going from place to place, and you kind of launch sieges on them. And you have your men and your level and your followers, and you go and attack, one of Sauron's whatever men that he possesses, and you take over. And so obviously they picked one, and I mean, firstly, this is super, super sweet. So what did we really learn here? Well, it's that this game is a lot bigger than it was. Your followers, firstly, you have followers, and it is just as expansive as probably the entire Nemesis system of the last game. You pick the people that are going to follow you onto these missions. You assemble basically an army. It kind of reminds me of like the ending of Mass Effect 3. Like in the game, just as you're progressing, you're assembling an army. And they talk about this in the footage, but the thing's muted, is that there's individual stories literally to everything. Your allies have stories. They have stories of how they get to you. They have stories of how they follow you. They have stories about how they betray you. And as the girl says, narrating this, that guy used to be with you, and he left. And he became stronger by leaving. But they each have their own stories of why they do what they do. The enemies have them, and they remember you. The locations have them, and they remember you. And your allies have them, and they remember you. So everything you do in this game has a memory and its own, they say, unique story, depending on how unique it really is. At the end of this, they say how no two players will ever, basically ever experience the same thing. I don't think that's I don't think that's exactly true. But it's possible. So as you see here, I mean, this is cool. You're leading your men on a full frontal assault into theirs. You have your men with the levels that they showed that you picked in the beginning. So, who you have and their abilities, they're very, very important to the mission at hand. And so that's very important in general. And so again, the Nemesis system isn't just the enemy this time, it's your own people. You can even possess the enemy, as happens at the end of this trailer, but, I mean, look at this. This is sweet. You have the guy breaking down the door, which is pretty awesome, and then you get this, and, the classic fighting of the first game, and the first game had a lot of really good things to it that I think surprised a lot of people, including me. I didn't think the first game was going to be good, but it was. And one of the reasons why was the insanely good combat. The makers of the Batman combat made this, and you can see it all over the place. This is pretty cool too, like when you get into the sword clash with the enemy, there's always like that story there, and this, it just showed his story, kind of how he's possessed and he possesses you, and so there's obviously things that happen to you because of that. And so, it's the same fighting. Obviously, it looks a little choppy and stuff from when he destroyed just the foot soldiers. But in general, this is an alpha gameplay, so this isn't going to look phenomenal. But you see this is a cool little takedown. I assume it's environment-based, where because you were at the edge of this, you could push him off and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty cool in general. And then you have this, now what I'm wondering, what I'm wondering is if what you just did up there affects at all what just happened. So like, would you have broken the barricade if you didn't do it? Like, like it was cool how the timing worked, how you killed the leader and you killed the leader of that first door, and then then they broke through the gate. I mean, that's pretty cool, like timing cinematic wise. But as for the actual, like, how is it going to work in the game, I'm going to be very interested to know. It's going to be cool to see how this entire game flows. And I think we probably thought the same thing for the first game, and you know what? I have no doubt that this game is going to work. You may look at it and you say, well, like, this is a pretty cool showing, but like, how is it going to stand for a full game? Like, what's it really going to be? And I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of this and very expansive. Say even there's men that escape this fight. They have stories that go with them, and this isn't even including the whole, what we learned last time, where like if the orcs kill each other, kill the higher of command, or do quests by themselves, they kind of jump up the leaderboards and they become higher powers. This happens to your own men in this mission that they show, but we don't know about like the enemies. Like we don't really see that in this. You see more of the bow gameplay, which was also very, very strong in the actual game. You saw them get headshots, you see them blowing up, really just environmental hazards. So the combat was really good. I hope it looks honestly a lot more of the same, which isn't a bad thing. I just wonder how much how more expansive it's going to be. As we can obviously see the Nemesis system, but here is where you get that thing where look, he has a story to him, and he has attributes. He's a sniper, he's immune to execute, like he has all this stuff that you recruited, and he has a story. He has a story, and so does the guy he just shot his arm off, and he kills him. And now again, I'm not sure how this actually is going to work, because again, it seems like a really cool trailer moment for this guy, this Thrak whatever, to be choking you, and then you get saved by your ally. Like, that's really, really cool. How often is that going to happen in the game? How often will that happen, like in general? Because it depends on the actual story. It depends on everything that happened. Like they said, everybody has a very unique story. So that person, if that story was a little different, he wouldn't have saved you. If that guy wasn't a sniper, he wouldn't have saved you. Now, there's probably just an animation where you break the guy's arm and you roll out and then you fight him, But, I mean, it's cool to see all of these different things. And again, then you have this guy who's just like a massive freak, and he eventually spills fire out and kills your whatever, the guy who breaks down the wall, which that orc was pretty sweet. But, I think this is just to show, as we can see, it's just to show the personality of them, that everybody is a little different. Everybody's different, and they not only are they like different sizes, not only do they have different skill sets, like the sniper, or this guy is like a berserker or whatever, and this guy is the Dark Destroyer. He's primarily just to like destroy gates. So it's cool to see everybody has a different personality to them, and I think that's exactly what you can expect in the game. In this game, I mean, the first game was a nice, like, meaty kind of game. Like, it wasn't super long, but it was not short. There was a lot to it, and, again, like, people had their own personalities and stuff in the first game, but not anywhere close to this. And then you see, like, this possession thing, which, again, you could do in the first game, but you could only ride the, like, on-land animals. You couldn't ride, dragons. And so this is pretty sweet. And again, I assume that this is just spontaneous, that this just happened. And maybe you do this and this doesn't happen. And so you have to figure out a different way of solving things. And, it'd be interesting to see how you would be able to win this battle if you didn't have this kind of help, because this basically wins him the battle. But every place is different, every person is, and I mean, that is really where the first game shined, because while the combat was good, it was the Dark Knight's combat. I personally think I personally think, Batman, but he is the Dark Knight. I personally think the Arkham games has a better combat than this, even if it's the same guy. I do think it's more refined in Batman than this. So the fighting is really, really good, but it's not like the best fighting. And the story was solid, but it wasn't the best story. And so what really shined is this Nemesis system. And here you go, you see it again, possession. So, and you get to see all of the different options, like fight to the death or whatever it said. Like you can kill him right there. And here, obviously, he possesses him. Well, it really recruits him like he's him. And then actually, if you see really fast, it gave the options like stay and fight or leave or whatever. So now this guy becomes yours. And obviously we saw that in the first game. But this is really awesome because now that guy joins your rank and he can be used in the next battle when you are, when you're trying to get into a different castle and you're trying to defeat another mega boss. Basically, he has his own story, and again, like we saw in the very beginning, maybe he's unhappy with you and he breaks off. Maybe he gets hurt in battle, right? Maybe he dies in the next battle. But you know, they each have, maybe, like I said, maybe a survivor of this battle somewhere, he escapes, or maybe somebody in this battle killed one of your main orcs and now that guy gets promoted. So this world is so big. Like, how they made this game is literally incredible, and the Nemesis system is massively improved from the first game, as we can obviously see. I cannot wait to see the full game. I'd be interested to see, like I said, how long it is. Like I said, the first game, probably 20 hours, 20 to 30 hours, if you really... I platinumed it, Nick platinumed it, Tyler platinumed it. I think Pat did, or he got close, but a lot of us platinumed the game, so we got all the trophies in it. And, you know, I played it for probably 30 hours, and I enjoyed every second of it. But here you go. Here's, like, the mega boss. And from what we can read into what they showed in the beginning, it's an overlord. What we saw, like, in the beginning of this was all of these different kind of castles. So, like, there's a lot of these. And this is just, like, when you send your men to attack. Now you know, it's called Shadow of War. I don't know how much of what they actually showed in the beginning, like, is that the full game or is that just part of the game? Because it didn't look like the full game, but it you know, because you got to start out by getting your men somewhere. But like I said, there's a lot of this game that is unseen. I really like these animations of him cutting down people. It was really cool in the last game. It doesn't look as good, and it actually looks worse in this game than the last game, but that's because this is an alpha, and I am sure it's going to look a lot better when it comes out, especially on PlayStation Pro, and especially on Xbox Scorpio, which we saw that is actually confirmed. Now, this is really cool, too. See, this is another unique story, is that he's about, well, at this point, yeah, he's about to kill you, and then this Marauder Beastmaster, he charges in, and he distracts him. I mean, that is so cool. And now this is a guy you picked for the mission, so he was always there. But you know, imagine the different ways this battle goes. Like if he doesn't show up, or maybe somebody else shows up. Like that guy kind of just distracted him. Maybe there's another guy that comes in that could almost take him out toe to toe. Like we don't know what other possibilities there are to defeat this guy. We really don't. And then as you see, like, then you can promote, then they do promote that individual orc because of his bravery in doing it. See, Fortress Conquered, so like, you got it. You got the region. Now, I wonder what you can do with said region. I'll be interested to see. Like I said, there's a lot of this game that we have not seen. We saw a little bit of the gear when he put on the gear in the beginning, but here we go. Here's where we get to see your own men. Where you can promote them. You already have the people kind of on top, and you know they're going through the people that were in this place. And I'd also be interested to see just how many orcs you can recruit, right? Because that was a lot of them right there, or you know, there's different kinds of them. I'd be interested to see how many you can actually recruit in this game, because there's already a lot on screen right there. And there's a lot of unplayed fortresses to conquer. So I'd be interested to see just how massive this game is. But I have no doubt, like I said, like there is still a lot of unanswered questions in how certain things, like the war chiefs, how certain things work. How does the enemy exactly work? We only saw our allies. We didn't really get to see how, like, how the enemy does internal promoting and where they place their men and stuff like that. We understand that there's stories there with the enemy. We understand there's stories with the allies. We understand there's stories with the enemies and allies combined. But there are some unanswered questions, but I have literally no doubt that they can make this game phenomenal. I think this game has a massive potential to be Game of the Year. I think, there's a lot of huge games coming out this year. There's Horizon that already came out. There's Mass Effect. There's this. And then I would throw in Red Dead Redemption 2. And I would say those are probably the 4 games that I foresee right now. And Zelda, because while I don't have a Switch, I know it's going to be phenomenal. I know it is phenomenal. So those are really the 5 games right there that I think will do Game of the Year. But that is my impressions and my analysis and what I think we're going to see from Middle-earth Shadow of War. So let me know what you guys think of this game. Anything you want to talk about, put it in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Podcast Now, our YouTube channel, for more content. Make sure you like this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.